The latest after that deadly motorcycle crash in New Hampshire over the weekend. The president of the motorcycle club taking part in that ride, describing it as the worst devastation he's ever seen.
Plus, as more asylum seekers arrive in Portland, why even more volunteers are stepping up to help.
And remember Tostito, that little dog from Falmouth that went out to California for the ugliest dog contest? Well, that contest was this past weekend. How did Tostito do? Not too bad. We'll tell you more coming up. This is News Center Now.
And good evening, everybody, and thanks for being with us. I'm Lee Nelson.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. We begin tonight with the latest on a deadly weekend crash in New Hampshire that claimed the lives of 7 people. The pickup driver involved in the motorcycle crash has been charged with 7 counts of negligent homicide.
In his first appearance in a courtroom in Massachusetts this afternoon, 23-year-old Vladimir Zukovsky answered the charges by pleading not guilty. He also waived his right to fight extradition. He will return to New Hampshire. Authorities in New Hampshire say Zukovsky was arrested around 8 this morning by Massachusetts State Police at his home in West Springfield, Mass. He was taken into custody on a fugitive from justice charge, and the investigation into that crash continues.
Meanwhile, as of this morning, one of the people injured in the crash was being treated at Maine Medical Center in Portland. The 7 people killed in that crash were members or supporters of the Marine Jarheads, a New England motorcycle club that includes Marines and their spouses. Today, the president of that club spoke to NBC Boston about the aftermath of Friday's crash in Randolph, New Hampshire. Manny Ribeiro called the scene devastation like he's never seen.
For me personally, this is far worse than anything I ever experienced in my life. Far worse. I know some of the New Hampshire State Troopers that were there said the same thing. Quite a few of them were Marines that responded to help us. And it was like nothing I'd ever seen.
Ribeiro was one of roughly 20 riders part of that ride, which included 15 motorcycles. He says the outreach and support has been overwhelming.
Now, for those who witnessed this crash, it has really been a very tough time.
If you or someone you know have witnessed a tragic event, there are resources to help. Leslie Skillen is here from the Trauma Intervention Program of Maine Behavioral Health. Leslie, thanks so much for being with us tonight. If you know someone who may have seen a tragic event, not just this crash, but maybe something else, what are some ways you can tell that they maybe need help and maybe you can reach out?
Well, I think the most important thing is to go and spend time with them. A lot of people, it's painful to be around people that are in pain, emotional pain. And so it's important to reach out and spend some time with them and let them talk based on what they're saying and what they're sharing with you. You would then guide them and say, you know, it's really important that you're talking to me and I appreciate that you are and I'm glad I'm here for you. But let's maybe look into some resources. And 211 in Maine and 211 in New Hampshire are amazing resources of referral services for local agencies that can help them process these horrific events.
What's a sign they might show as they're speaking that would tell you they might need to talk to someone other than just a friend?
Well, within the immediate aftermath of a traumatic event, and these folks certainly, you know, didn't wake up that day and expect to find themselves what may seem like a war zone. And so at first they're going to have that shock, and they're going to be dazed, and they're going to be confused a bit, and they're going to have some absent-mindedness. They may have bursts of crying and anger or just frustration. And so there's a lot of things that they're going to display initially that may soon level out. But certainly if someone has experienced a traumatic event in the past and this has now compounded that, then you want to encourage them. But you're just going to look for them and their signs of, are they coming out of it quickly? Are they talking? Or are they isolating? Are they really having a hard time sleeping? Are they not eating? Are they not going about their normal activity? And if they aren't and they're continuing to show these signs, then you should really encourage them to seek some assistance.
Oh, I think the biggest takeaway you said too earlier in our conversation off camera was that as someone who's a bystander to someone who's witnessed something, don't feel like you need to have the answers. Don't feel like you need to make any promises, right?
No, because I think all of us in our DNA want to have that help, right? We want to fix things for people. And I think in the work that we do with the trauma intervention program is that we always want to make sure that people are allowed to speak, that we give them that space. And if they want to be quiet, then we just sit quietly with them, because just your power of the presence can mean to them that I'm not alone. And it will come out, they will speak when they're ready to speak, and then you just be there and be a good listener. Don't try to fix it. Don't come up with statements that are going to make it better, because honestly, how could you? Instead, you just want to be supportive, and you just want to guide them to additional support if they need that.
Excellent advice. Excellent advice. Sometimes we just want to fix.
Yes.
So, but you can't.
Right.
Great. Thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
here.
You're welcome.
Well, there is also a GoFundMe page set up for victims and family support. So far, close to $360,000 has been raised in 2 days. And for more on our continuing coverage of this story, visit our website and mobile app. For now, I think we're going to send things over to weather. It was absolutely beautiful out there this weekend.
Turn our attention to the forecast.
Yeah.
It was spectacular today too, Keith.
Yeah, gorgeous day. We're of course not going to keep these going, unfortunately. We do have some showers on the way tomorrow afternoon. Let's talk about the current though. Look at western Maine, Parsonsfield coming in 84 degrees, 76 in Sebago. We do have that ocean influence. It's not a true sea breeze necessarily, but the winds are not strong enough to fight off the marine influence. It's 78 in Herman right now, 77 in Bangor. So nice late afternoon, early evening, clear. It'll be clear overnight tonight. You can see some clouds starting to stream in. We've got a warm front here, cold front back here. We got to drag this through tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night. We'll wait. This is Wednesday, and then this front comes through on Thursday with some showers and thunderstorms. So again, no problems overnight tonight. It is quiet, it is comfortable. The dew points remain relatively low. Tomorrow we start with a lot of sunshine statewide. It's not till late morning that we move clouds in over southern Maine, midday over central Maine, and then afternoon over northern Maine. Showers, thunderstorms start coming in from the west though by late afternoon, evening, and they continue overnight on Tuesday. Guys, I think the real story here for the forecast isn't going to be that we're going to have some scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's that we may have our first stretch of humidity of the summer, and kind of right on cue, right, as we head and barrel towards July.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, good, Keith. Thanks a lot. Talk to you again in a bit. Time for some headlines this Monday, beginning with the president and his announcement of new sanctions for Iran. Seated in the Oval Office, Mr. Trump signed an executive order targeting Iran's supreme leader and his associates. The president said Ali Khamenei is ultimately responsible for the, quote, hostile conduct of the regime, stressing the executive order will deny Khamenei and his office key financial resources and support. Mr. Trump also re-emphasizing that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, telling NBC's Meet the Press that Iran would see, quote, obliteration like you've never seen before if it resumes efforts to build the nukes.
A judge, meanwhile, says new evidence paints a disturbing picture that racial discrimination may be the motive behind the Trump administration's push to ask everyone in the country about citizenship status. U.S. District Judge George Hazel of Maryland ruled there's enough evidence to warrant reopening a case focused on whether a proposed 2020 census question violates minorities' rights. The High Court is expected to decide this week whether the controversial question should be included. Senator and presidential candidate Bernie Sanders is co-sponsoring legislation he says would eliminate all student loan debt within 6 months and make public colleges tuition-free.
Yeah, Sanders says this 10-year, $2.2 trillion cost of what's called the College for All Act is entirely going to be paid for by fees of the trading of stocks, bonds, and derivatives. Now, Sanders says about 45 million Americans hold $1.6 trillion in student debt right now, and he says it is time Wall Street came to the aid of the American middle class. And this story was a big talker on social media. Louise saying, finally, a bill that makes sense. Support the young ones who will actually be contributing to the economy in the future.
Richard adds, is he going to pay back all the students that took responsibility and paid their loans in full? And Michael chimes in with, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I wouldn't turn it down if someone offered to relieve my student loans, but it seems a bit of a stretch. Feel free to let us know what you think on our Facebook and YouTube live streams. Join the conversation.
Yes, indeed. All right, quick break here coming up. We may be one step closer to seeing how much our data is worth to social media companies.
And an update on the asylum seekers arriving in Portland. We'll find out how many are still here, and we'll meet some of the volunteers who are lending a hand. Hey, Facebook. Let's see, I gotta punch this up.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 da.
Me too.
So Facebook has logged out here. So I'm
I
gonna
had
go.
trouble with Facebook
Did
earlier
you?
today. I couldn't, on my phone, I couldn't.
Really?
I couldn't.
I think sometimes these, like, at least for the Surfi, they reset. And then Facebook on my phone that I didn't update it on, it stopped working.
Completely?
So yeah, maybe it needs an update.
Maybe.
The app needs to be updated. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my phone.
There we go. And there we go. Hello, everybody. Now I'm seeing Lindsay and Keith. We are well this evening, Fred. Marcus from Brazil is watching. Marcus, hello. Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh,
Rachel
wow.
saying hello.
It is cool when we have people from all over watching.
Did it come on? There it comes.
Yeah, a lot of people talking about the accident.
Oh, it's just terrible. Just terrible.
Phipsburg, hello, Deborah.
Yeah, I thought that was really powerful when Leslie said, it's okay to just listen.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that way sometimes, like I have to have a solution for somebody or I have to have the answer.
Isn't that the book? I'm not gonna say it right, but like men are from Venus, women are from Venus, men are from Mars, something like that. And the whole thing where men try and fix stuff, and I know that's true because I
so
always
true.
try and fix stuff.
Sometimes I have to say
so
to Clay,
annoying.
I'm just venting.
Right, right, right.
Because he gets frustrated if he doesn't know,
Right.
or if he'll start suggesting things that I've already tried.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. You need a reminder on that one, like,
Yeah.
because it is so anti how we are wired.
Right.
You got a problem? All right, let's fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes fixing it just means talking about it a little bit, and it'll become less of a problem. Yeah,
Sometimes just being a good listener is like the best thing you can do. How about this new legislation today on the value of our personal data? Senators Mark Warner and Josh Hawley introduced the Dashboard Act. It will require data harvesting companies such as social media sites to tell consumers and financial regulators exactly what data they're collecting from people and how it's being leveraged by the platform for profit. Interesting. Well, a lot more women are getting 3D mammograms, but the rates are different in different parts of the country.
Yeah, researchers at Yale studied 3 years of information involving more than 9 million breast cancer screenings, and here is what they found. The overall rate of 3D mammography screening jumped quite a bit from about 13% in 2015 to 43% in 2017. However, women who were privately insured or those with Medicare were more likely to get the advanced screening. And also, the use of this new technology grew much more in the Northeast and Northwest, areas with higher incomes and larger white populations. Most doctors agree that 3D mammograms may increase cancer detection rates and reduce false positive results as well. The delivery craze continues.
Certainly does. 7-Eleven rolling out a new service, letting customers order everything from a Slurpee to a battery charger with delivery to places like beaches and parks.
Crazy.
The store has more than 2,000 hotspots in operation, and the company will eventually have 200,000 hotspot public delivery locations across the country. There's no minimum order that you need to do. 7-Eleven is using Postmates for that public delivery service and is promising an average wait time of half an hour.
Sounds like they're not in Maine quite yet with that, but will be soon. So.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Wouldn't a Slurpee delivered to the beach be quite nice?
Yes, I know.
There have been over 1,000 people signed up to volunteer and help the asylum seekers in Portland. When we come back, we'll learn what motivated 2 of those to help out.
And later, Keith comes back with his latest forecast. Gorgeous day. And that is not a thing, Keith.
You know what it is too? It's like your summer tan is setting in, and then you also have like the summer attire on,
right?
Which is the lighter colors.
Well, look, like Cindy got me the darker shade of makeup, but look, it matches. Right?
Yeah, no.
So it's
your hands for sure.
Yeah. So it is the color I am. It
sure.
actually matches me perfect.
Yeah.
This is me every year.
Todd Guttner gets really dark too.
Yeah, he does. My sister gets so dark. She looks like she's like Pakistani or something.
Really?
It's crazy.
Like another,
She gets so dark.
Well, what's interesting for you is like you have the light eyes. You know, Clay's dad gets really dark, and so does my mom. My mom gets very dark. I call her my little meatball.
Huh?
Guttner's not the guy you want to be comparing yourself to.
I compared.
Well, this is all real. It's all real.
100% natural. A result of your good genes. Isn't that
We're in the newsroom with Sam.
When
I believe.
asked the president about it, and he said it was a result of his good genes.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm not orange, though.
No.
True.
Or as orange, anyway.
Yeah, your hands for sure.
Yeah. So it
Where are we going? What are we doing?
We're following Sam.
What show is this?
Dee.
I'm gonna have to-
Oh, that's all good. Honestly, my computer's a mess.
Can you let
So-
them know I don't have IFB again? Because it just broke in my
Sam, your outfit works perfectly with the cushions.
So how are we doing this?
How are we doing this? I assume this is for me.
Which side am I on?
You're on the bad side.
I don't know.
I'm probably on
You're
the
probably
other
here,
side of
and then Sammy's
of
probably
Lindsay.
here.
We should be sprawled out on the couch if we're going to be over here. We're
I
not
know,
gonna use it.
right?
The heck? All right. Toward the end of last week, city decrease in people staying there. Now I'm doing right over the weekend. All right. What part do you want?
It doesn't matter to me. I don't mind taking.
You pick, and I'll
take
these.
part 1.
Okay.
Was it last week's?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
So how far are you gonna kind
I'll
of?
say decrease in people staying there.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Sweet.
10 seconds?
Wait, I'm not ready.
Me either. No.
I'm allowed to be not ready. You're not.
Welcome back, everyone. Towards the end of last week, Portland city leaders who were tallying the number of people staying at the Portland Expo shelter saw a decrease in the numbers.
But the numbers jumped right back up over the weekend as another busload of folks came in. Sam York joins us this evening with an update on how things are going at the Expo and overall with the whole asylum issue. Sam?
Yeah, so guys, right at this point, about 317 people have been processed through that makeshift shelter at the Portland Expo. And city officials say it makes up about 70 families. So while some of them have already moved on to other cities or even Canada, a good portion of them are still there at the Expo. And none of it would be possible without those volunteers. Among the hundreds of asylum seekers staying here at the Portland Expo are dozens of volunteers working around the clock, cleaning, serving meals, and making sure these families have everything they need.
I try to volunteer as much as possible because it's really helpful.
Marcus Goodbody is one of the roughly 1,200 others dedicating their free time at the city's makeshift shelter. As someone who works with newcomers at his local food pantry in Falmouth, assisting a couple towns over was a no-brainer.
I felt good after helping people and just telling them that they're safe now.
When I heard they were here, I just felt compelled to be here as well.
For volunteers like Rebecca Strauss, this kind of work is personal.
My father was a refugee from Germany. Having grown up at the table of refugees, I'm first generation on that side. I just have a sensitivity to what people have been going through or have gone through.
She spent all last week serving breakfast to the families. And soon, she hopes to be doing much more here.
I've also been asked to help teach English over the summer. So to this group of refugees, and they're putting that together right now.
While permanent housing for these asylum seekers, as well as a total cost to the city, is still up in the air, volunteers like Strauss and Goodbody say one thing is certain. If the need is there, they will be there too.
Being able to welcome people and to be able to give back a little bit of what my family got is just of supreme importance to me.
Now, as we mentioned, the city is still working on what they're calling Phase 2, which is finding temporary housing for these asylum seekers. They do still hope to have everyone out of the expo by the end of the summer. Lee and Lindsay, back to you.
Wow. This is such a massive thing, and it feels like it's kind of gone relatively smoothly. I know there's been bumps, and there will be bumps along the way, but wow.
Right.
A massive undertaking.
And so many people stepping up to do so many different things too.
Yes.
Some people opening their homes
Yeah.
or wanting to at least. So Sam, thanks for staying on top of this for us.
All right, you know who's on top? Oh, well, let's look outside first before we talk to Keith, because we got to see what people were doing on this
I know.
beautiful day.
Just a gorgeous day. It feels like summer's finally here. I know it is scientifically actually here, but now it feels that way. And you guys are sharing your Snapchats. Poolside, beachside, lakeside,
Right.
amusement park side.
All right,
Very cool.
it feels like it's time to get humid, Keith. I think it's time to get
It is.
humid.
We haven't done much of that. You know, that's what made yesterday a perfect, almost perfect day. It's because it was warm, but it wasn't humid. But we're gonna bring it on for you. Like I said, make you happy. I just want to make you happy.
Good.
Yesterday, you were at the Red Sox game. That's right.
Yes.
Beach day wise, it was great.
I
I
bet.
only spent about 30 minutes there because I have a toddler, so that's just how. But there was no ocean breeze at all. It's so rare for that to happen.
Very
It's
rare.
the same temperature right to the water. The water still does the run up your ankles cold thing though. That's about where, you know what I'm talking about. That's like, to me, the line in the sand.
Yeah.
If it shoots up your ankle immediately, then that's where we're still at. All right, we get to 81 in Sanford today, 80 in Lewiston, 77 in Portland, 77 in Wiscasset. Dew points though still low, as we talked about, in the 40s and low 50s, and that's what's made the last couple of days so comfortable for most of us, because that also means typically that it'll cool down more overnight if your dew points are lower. Satellite's clean, it'll stay clean the rest of today and most of tonight. Warm front will come through tomorrow afternoon. Cold front will come through on Thursday, which of course leaves us Wednesday to be cloudy and probably pretty sticky in between these two systems here. We call it the warm sector, but it also is usually more humid. Tomorrow's interesting because it's not a terrible day. The showers actually have slowed down progressively in the computer model runs. And so here we are tomorrow morning. Most of the state is sunny, and then by midday we still get some sun over northern Maine, but most of us start to cloud up 1, 2 o'clock. Then here come the showers and thunderstorms 4, 5, 6, 7, depending on where you are, up through midnight on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And then Wednesday's just kind of a cloudy and humid day, but it should be dry for most of the state. And then the front will come through on Thursday afternoon. That will trigger some showers and thunderstorms, some of which could be on the stronger side. We'll keep an eye on that. We had some pop-up hailers on Saturday, thunderstorms that produced hail seemingly out of nowhere. But I think the real story will be this humidity. It's not terrible Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It gets high Friday into Saturday, but we're going to combine this most likely with some warm temperatures on Friday into the mid 80s. So if we get the dew points plus the temps, I think Friday might be, feelings wise, the hottest day we've had so far.
Okay.
And I care about feelings.
I know
a
you
lot.
do.
I'm big.
You're
People say
sensitive.
that about me all
Yeah.
the time. Just too sensitive. The weekend at this point is really interesting because it's not bad. There's no big storm, but there looks like there's two impulses, one Saturday, one Sunday, that would touch off thunderstorms. So we just have to narrow down how much of the day is that going to take up.
Got it.
And until then, I'd say scattered showers and thunderstorms, and we'll see if we can narrow that. Because if it's in the afternoon, that's fine. If it falls at 11, that makes it a totally different day. So
And you'll have that all narrowed down by tomorrow.
I think tonight, like 12:01, I'll just call you.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Perfect.
If I don't answer,
Can I get on
just
that
leave a message.
Leave a voicemail. My mom drives me insane. She leaves voicemails, and I never listen to them.
Right,
And then
you just
she always
call
calls,
her back.
"Did you listen to my voicemail?" I'm like, no.
No.
The answer is no every time. Sorry, Mom.
Delete.
I don't even delete them. I just don't
Delete
listen to them.
Thanks, Keith. American soccer fans are happy. The
Yeah.
women's soccer team beat Spain 2-1 to advance to the quarterfinals of the Women's World Cup.
Yeah, however, there was a bit of controversy, okay? In the 71st minute, Rose Lavelle was tripped inside the penalty box. It led to a game-winning penalty kick. The video replay confirmed there was a little bit of contact, but a lot of fans around the world are pretty outraged that that little amount of contact would be called. So, what do you say? Is that a trip or is that not a trip? Again, here's the game-winning penalty kick that followed.
I mean,
Way in.
gotta give it to those refs. They have a tough job.
They have an incredibly tough job.
Says
That
the one
was a
who
tough
spent the
one.
weekend fighting with refs at a youth field hockey tournament. But no, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Big stage, it decided the game in a way. It's a tough one. That
It's
was
a
tough
great
one.
way to grow the game overall. There's a lot of excitement around
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
People are talking about it, so it's a good thing from
Look
that.
at you finding the positive.
I
Nice
know.
job. Nice job. Hey, we've been following Tostito, the dog, and
Yes.
his journey to become the world's ugliest dog. The competition was over the weekend, and Tostito finished third.
Aw.
Not a bad showing. Besides taking third, he also won the Spirit Award that highlights dogs who've been rescued and saved from puppy mills, and clearly it means he's a good guy, too.
So he's third place in the entire world.
Yes.
That's a pretty big
Out of
deal.
19 competitors.
Okay, it's a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. All right, a lot more coming up on News Center Maine at 5:30. We're finding out what's coming up straight ahead with Cindy. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. A pregnant woman is stabbed in the stomach in Parsonsfield. And get this, it was in a fight that actually started on social media. We've got the details coming up. Also ahead, a man from Utah has to be airlifted off Mount Katahdin. He fell 10 to 15 feet off the Cathedral Trail. We'll have more on that. And check this out, an impressive shark sighting off the coast of York today. Some fishermen ran across this very large shark, and you might think it's a great white, but the experts tell us it's not. We'll tell you what it is coming up at 5:30. Back to
Yeah, okay, good. Phew.
All
Phew.
the Jimmy Buffett fans are doing fins to the left, fins to the right, and we're all dancing and singing and having a good time.
All right, quick break.
Yes, we'll be back after this. That was a good shot too. I like that
Yes,
one.
I did. What was I going to say? What was I just going to say?
It was about soccer.
No, what was the shot? What was right before? Oh, he only fell 15 feet off the Cathedral Trail. You could fall 2,000 feet off the Cathedral Trail.
I know. That
he is
trail
lucky.
is no joke. Alrighty. So does Luca, is he liking the beach?
Yesterday he was cutting 2 teeth and had a
Oh,
cold,
buddy.
so not so much.
No.
Generally, yes.
Yeah.
He was.
Does he have like teething toys?
He does. You know, he didn't care the first couple teeth that came in. These must have annoyed him. He ran a fever a bit too, but he was just real clingy, which is not his MO. Usually he's like does his own thing.
Yeah.
But, he fell asleep on me twice yesterday,
Oh.
which again is like not a thing he does. So yeah, we brought him down to Willard actually for a bit. We tried to put him in, and he was like, no.
No. Oh, buddy.
But he does. When we've taken him in the past, he's liked it. So I think it was just,
Yeah.
just as he wasn't living his best baby life yesterday.
No.
That's what's interesting you'll find about having a kid, like, even if you have a pretty easy one. Okay. Even if you're a pretty easy one, they can change your plan, like, real fast. We were like, oh, we're going to do this, meet these people, then we're going to go to the beach, and then we're going to go drink after. And he was like, none of that. You know?
Schedule cleared.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Well, I guess we got the beach in technically, but the rest of it.
The rest was scrapped. That's tough. That's really tough.
They can definitely do that on a dime, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when they're, like, basically when he's sick is
When he's
that
sick.
happens.
Yeah.
If he
A
was just
fever's no
moody, I'd be
joke.
like, too bad, we're going.
Right. It seems like Luke is only upset if there's a reason.
He needs a reason, yeah, which is good. So, you know, sometimes, I don't know if you've ever heard them talk about how the ocean is the most unexplored part of
Yes.
the world, right? And more so than parts of space. Well, here's a perfect example. Scientists just found and mapped out a huge undersea aquifer off the east coast of the United States, heavily populated area. And if you're not familiar, basically this means there's fresh water trapped under the seabed in this area.
Wow.
And it's this whole zone. They just used some new technology. They were clued into this actually in the 80s. People were drilling for oil and coming up with fresh water. And so they just finally found a good way to send electromagnetic waves through there and decide what's freshwater, what's saltwater, and found this a huge freshwater under here. It's not very practical to tap into right now, but this got me thinking about desalinating, how they can do that to the ocean water.
Right.
And why don't we do it more often? And the basic answer is it just costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
So for a cubic yard, I think it is, of water, 200 something gallons, it's about 10 or 20 cents to get that out of fresh water. It costs $1 or $2 to do it out of the ocean. So we can do it, it's just really expensive. So any place we can find fresh water is still a positive. But that, I thought it was cool. It's a discovery so close to, I don't know, 30 million people.
Right.
You know?
That is fascinating. I thought you were going to talk about the giant squid that the Washington Post was talking about.
No,
today.
I didn't see that. I'll have to look it up.
I'll send it to you. News Animated 5:30 starts right now.
Coming up tonight on
Giant squid.
The squiddy.
Bye, guys. Did you see it? Yeah, I guess.